Hi, today I'm going to introduce the new AWS Textract custom step, an easy way to use Amazon's optical character recognition service within SAS Studio. For those who aren't familiar with AWS Textract, it's a collection of different OCR services to extract texts, forms, tables, to use other specialized models, or the option to create and use custom OCR models yourself. The first version of this custom step supports the extraction of text and forms from document images located on your SAS server or in an S3 bucket. This video is divided in 3 parts. First, I'll explain the UI and settings of the custom step. Then I'll showcase some examples and then talk a bit about prerequisites and further details. To get started, drag the custom step into a SAS Studio flow. We then can pick what kind of data we want to extract. Currently available are text and forms. For text extraction, we then have the option to define the level of aggregation we want the results to be in. Depending on your needs, it can be by page, by paragraph, by line, or even on a word-by-word basis. Next, define whether your documents are stored locally on your SAS server or in S3 bucket. For local files, you can then either specify a specific file path to just perform OCR on one file, or an input table containing a list of file paths. For the latter, we then pick a column containing the paths. Please make sure your files are located on the SAS server, as SAS content is not supported. If you choose S3 bucket as your document location, you can process a whole bucket or again a list of specified documents located in a bucket. For the latter, you again need an input table including the respective path. In both cases, you need a bucket name. Under Outputs, you can optionally output a status table that contains metadata information that might be relevant for batch processing and helps to keep tabs on the health of your OCR processing. In the next tab, provide your AWS credentials with the respective rights to use AWS Textract and, if applicable, access to the S3 bucket with the documents. For more information, check the IAM documentation link in the description below. Lastly, specify the AWS region you want to use. If your files are located in S3 bucket, make sure the region corresponds to the region of the bucket. For more information, follow the link in the description below. At the heart of this step is an API call to the AWS Textract service, so we can define some more advanced but optional parameters to handle networking or connection issues by retrying a set amount of times before moving on to the next document. In case you're extracting text on a paragraph level, you'll find an additional parameter that specifies a threshold for detecting paragraphs. As AWS doesn't aggregate on a paragraph level natively, they are inferred by overlapping coordinates of text lines. You can set a sensitivity for this process by changing this parameter. As a simple example, we will first process a single file. I just define my settings, locate my file in the file browser, and hit run. In the resulting dataset, we can see all the different data points that are part of the output. Apart from the text itself, the two most relevant, in my opinion, are the relative location of the element on the document and the value that signals the certainty with which AWS Textract extracted this element. To look at a more sophisticated example, we will first make use of another great custom step from the SAS repository to index files within a folder. We use its output as an input and pick the column containing the file path. Because this time we have multiple documents processed at once, we also want the processing status as part of the output. We simply check the box in the output settings and make sure the optional output port is connected to a table or a subsequent consuming node. Running this, we again get a table containing the same type of output as before, but now in the status table we see if something went wrong along the way, which enables us to take actions to resolve potential issues before trying again. In the last example, we process files within an S3 bucket using the form extraction. Here, the OCR output is in the form of key value pairs that then can be processed further. To talk requirements, there are a couple of Python packages that need to be installed in order to use this step. You need valid AWS credentials with the right rights to use the AWS Textract service. Documents need to be either in JPEG or PNG format. The currently used AWS endpoint doesn't support processing of other document types. To download the custom step and the documentation, click the first link in the video description. For future versions, I plan the additional option to extract tables and the support of PDF documents. If you have other ideas or feedback, don't hesitate to get in touch or write a comment down below. Cheers.